Donald Trump chooses New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to lead his transition team. The business mogul is shifting focus toward the general election after becoming the presumptive GOP nominee when both Ted Cruz and John Kasich dropped out of the race. Trump says Christie has the tools and resources to put together an unparalleled transition team. Christie threw his support behind Trump after suspending his own presidential bid in February. If Trump is victorious in November, the team will work with officials appointed by President Obama to make a smooth transition into the White House. U.S. gas prices reach a 6-month high as the national average for a gallon hits $2.21. The price has risen by 50 cents in the past 3 months, with the highest prices in Alaska, California, and Hawaii. Still, the price is still 45 cents lower than it was a year ago, while a barrel of oil is valued at just short of $45. 19 bodies are recovered after heavy rains cause a massive landslide in southeastern China. 20 people are still missing in Taining County. The incident happened Sunday morning, burying a hydropower plant construction site. A pair of workers are still trapped beneath the rubble as rescue crews work to save them. However, rain continues to fall in the region, slowing down search efforts. London's new mayor, Sadiq Khan, was serenaded by a children's choir at an annual memorial service commemorating VE Day and Holocaust Remembrance Day in Britain. He joined thousands of people at a rugby stadium, including more than 100 Holocaust survivors. Khan is a member of the UK's Labour Party. Its leader, Jeremy Corbyn, established an independent investigation in April to look into accusations of anti-Semitic views among its members. Khan, who is also London's first Muslim mayor, was sworn into office Saturday after a contentious campaign in which he was accused of supporting extremists. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested and deported the last Nazi collaborator remaining on U.S. soil, after President Obama gave him a paid vacation in Queens. The deportation of Yaakov Poli shows exactly why ICE is so important. But that, of course, has not stopped Democrats from undermining the agency's accomplishments. Instead, the liberal media was quick to point out that ICE does not deserve the credit for the arrest. In this case, they may have a point. ICE functions to investigate and arrest those in the country illegally. But for the New York Nazi, the agency did not have to perform any of the investigation, because the investigation began in 2003 under the Bush administration. I think I'd graduated kindergarten by then. In 2004, it was the Bush White House that found Poli guilty of being a Nazi that worked in the Travniki labor camp. The investigation also found he may have possibly participated in one of the worst massacres of the war that killed approximately 6,000 Jewish men, women, and children. So 15 years ago, a possible mass murdering Nazi was found guilty and ordered for deportation, but has instead lived comfortably in his Queens home ever since. The Bush administration never followed through because they allegedly could not find a country to take him. So the administration instead swept a Nazi war criminal under the rug and allowed him to remain in the United States without his citizenship. Then comes America's first black president and race champion of the left. You think he would jump at the opportunity to deport a Nazi white supremacist from American soil. Instead, and kind of unsurprisingly, for all 8 years of his presidency, Barack Obama knowingly allowed a Nazi to live comfortably in his New York home. To make matters worse, Poli was reportedly living off welfare for almost a decade and a half, even though he was not a legal citizen. Next time a Democrat tries to make the claim illegals cannot get government services, just remind them our taxpayer dollars funded an illegal Nazi for 15 years. Because of course an actual fascist would illegally use government services without any regard to the people paying for them. But I digress. According to the U.S. ambassador to Germany, Richard Grenell, Presidents Bush and Obama tried to convince Germany to accept Poli since the investigation concluded in 2004, and they couldn't do it. But when President Trump entered office, he reportedly saw it as a moral obligation to have Poli removed from U.S. soil and made it very clear to the German government that President Trump would not rest until he was gone. He was not asking for their permission to deport him. He made it very clear Paulie would be deported. Unlike the two previous presidents before him, President Trump got results and successfully removed the last Nazi from the United States. And yet the left will still call President Trump a white supremacist, even when he deports an actual Nazi. Not to mention the slander and calls for removal from the Democrats' rising star Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been throwing at both President Trump and ICE when they just deported a literal Nazi from her congressional district. This just shows how President Trump's strong approach to foreign policy works. After 15 years of another country telling our presidents no, he got results. Whether they couldn't or wouldn't, President Trump was the man to make sure justice was served.